Hello, I am Beverly King. I am a passionate advocate for voter registration, voter education, and voter participation. As we prepare for the November 8th, 2016 presidential election, I would like to share some important information and facts in preparation for the upcoming election. First of all is voter eligibility in the state of Ohio. In the state of Ohio, in order to register and vote, you must be a U.S. citizen, at least age 18. If you are age 17 and will be 18 on or before November 8th, you are eligible to register and vote for the presidential election. Also, you must be registered at least 30 days before election. Let's talk about convicted felons. In the state of Ohio, if you have been convicted of a felony, either by plea, by jury trial, or by bench trial, and you are sentenced to probation, you are released back into the community, then you are eligible to register and cast your ballot on election day. However, if you have been convicted of a felony and you are sentenced to prison and you must serve time in prison, then you lose your right to vote in the state of Ohio. If you serve your time and are released from prison, then your right to vote is restored. You must re-register at least 30 days before election, and then you are eligible to vote in the upcoming election. Some important dates that are forthcoming for this 2016 presidential election. Tuesday, October 11th, 2016. That is the voter registration deadline. If you are a new voter, you can register that day, as well as anyone who's already registered and needs to change their address or change their name. The Board of Elections office is open until 9:00 p.m. for voter registration. Additionally, you can register at any of the specified designated agencies in the state. Those would be the Bureau of Motor Vehicles, Montgomery County Job and Family Services, your local library, public high schools, the WIC program, as well as the Treasurer's Office, the Secretary of State's Office, and MRDD. You must be registered by the close of business at those designated agencies. And designated agencies have an additional 5 days to get the voter registration forms to the Board of Elections. Also, if you fill out a form and it is postmarked by October 11th, that is considered on time. Early voting. The term early voting and absentee voting, that means the same thing. Early voting begins at the Board of Elections on Wednesday, October 12th. All early voting is at the Board of Elections office in Montgomery County. That office is in the County Administration Building at 451 West 3rd Street. If you come downtown to vote, you will need to park in the Montgomery County Public Parking Garage. Once you enter the Board of Elections and you cast your ballot, you will be given a blue ticket that validates your parking. So parking is free. You do not have to pay poll taxes or pay to park to cast your ballot. The voter ID requirement. In the state of Ohio, there is what I consider to be a loophole in the law. The legislators missed it. If you vote early, either in person or by mail, you are not required to show ID. You are required to provide either the last 4 digits of your social security number or your driver's license or state ID number. However, you're not required to show ID. If you choose to go to the polls on election day, then ID is actually required. When it comes to voting, many people think of voting just every 4 years for the president. However, there are local elections every year, and voting in a local election is just as important as voting in a presidential election. In local elections, you get to decide what happens in your community, what happens, who represents you in both town hall, city hall, the county administration building, the courts building. You decide how your tax dollars are being spent. Decisions are made about our children, the future of our community, the future leaders of our community, of our state, of our nation, and the world. So you definitely want to make sure that you cast your ballot in every election, because every election is important. Local elections impact the important issues that affect our community. When you go to the poll to vote, those issues and those local elected officials are at the end of the ballot. You need to vote the entire ballot. I would venture to say, start at the end and work your way to the beginning. One thing about voting, if you do not vote, you cannot complain. You have to make decisions about what happens to you and how your tax dollars are spent. You vote in the precinct in which you live. It would not be fair for people from one jurisdiction to make decisions about what happens in another jurisdiction. The bottom line, your vote is important and it counts. Since I have been involved in the electoral process, I have witnessed 7 tie votes in a race. In the state of Ohio, a tie vote is determined by the flip of a coin or the drawing of straws. It's called the lottery. And the last thing I would like to see happen is a decision made in my community based on the lottery. So remember, cast your ballot, vote early, vote often. Vote your ballot from the beginning and to the end. Your vote matters. Thank you.